Okay, now. There we go. Okay. That should be better. Thank you. All right, so yeah, here's my cat's back. Good girl. You're a good cat. Yep, we love you. She's drinking the paint water, which is okay for now because it's actually clean. Haven't started yet. There we go, cat. Gonna ease her off onto my back, or onto my lap, and get her to not be in the way. And then we are going to, I don't know, it's been a really long couple days for me, folks. Did I not bring my little sketchbook down here? Okay, I would swear that I had my sketchbook. Upstairs by the couch is where I thought I picked it up. It's okay. I'll use something else. All right, we're gonna do some gouache practice. I don't have the energy to do much more than that. So, okay, thank you. It's blue and square and has a Logitech sticker on it. Man. Okay. Thank you. That's so weird. I really could have sworn I brought it down here, but clearly I didn't. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna try some more gouache practice. I have played around with gouache since the last time that since the last time I saw everybody. So here are the pairs that I finished up. Then I tried to make some clouds, tried to make a flower petal. Then I just tried practicing painting some spheres, making form using that gouache. It's so very different than watercolor, and I've been very frustrated, honestly, with the difficulties that I've had. I'd forgotten how it's kind of frustrating to learn a new medium. But what we're going to do today is paint a picture of a burning candle. I saw a YouTube tutorial on it by one of my favorite YouTube artists, Sarah Cray. She works with, I'm not sure which, a business called Let's Make Art. And I really, really love their tutorials. It's how I got started with watercolor. And she does a lot of watercolor tutorials, and they're just so easy. They're just so nice. Osaka, hi. Oh my gosh, Osaka, it's been a rough couple days. I am feeling better. I mean, at this time yesterday I was in the ER, and I think at this time the day before that I was in the ER. Yep. So we've spent a lot of time in the ER. I guess I can tell you what happened. I was having some pain in my, some pain. It takes a lot of pain to make me actually go search for help. I was having some pretty severe pain in my abdomen, and so went to urgent care on today's Wednesday? Okay, on Monday. And then they couldn't help me. They thought I needed more help than they could do at the time, and they sent me to the ER. And they did a bunch of tests and treated me for possibly a virus. They said it was possibly a virus, possibly ulcers, and they treated me for ulcers and let me go home. But since I was so sick all day Monday, I didn't really eat or drink much, and that led to a very severe migraine on Tuesday. And I couldn't take most of my migraine meds because they're rough on stomachs and would have made it worse if it was ulcers. And so, ugh, yeah. So then I got a very, very bad migraine, which was so much fun. But eventually also took me to urgent care, where they told me again that they couldn't help because for the same reason I wasn't taking my at-home medicines, they couldn't give me any of their medicines because they were possibly too hard on the stomach. So they sent me to ER again, and then at the ER they treated me for a migraine. And yeah, it was not fun. Didn't enjoy any of that. Ugh, so I'm feeling better than I was. But don't feel great yet. So I'm here at least, and I'm gonna paint a candle. And I want it to be, let's see, I think I want it to be shorter than that. I want to see if I can paint a candle in gouache that I learned to do from this tutorial. Let's make it about that wide. And the flame itself is going to be kind of rounded on the bottom. I do want the actual flame on the inside to not have markings on it because I'm going to use a lot of just the white of the paper there. Yeah, so that'll be good. Okay, is there anything here that I want to adjust? I want that to look like a wax top, so I want it to be kind of runny. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to take some black and make a background. Okay. I'm going to use the same gouache that I've been using, but I do want to use a flat brush because I think it'll be easier for putting on a layer on the back. So I got out my acrylic brushes here. I'm gonna look at some of them. This one is not one of my favorite brushes. Let's see. Look at this one. Ooh, this is nice. I need to take this out and use it with my watercolors. Yeah. Maybe that looks like it might be a flat brush. This is just a very fluffy. Huh. I just can't seem to find the brushes that I want here. That's okay. Here's a nice, that one seems really stiff. That one seems not large enough. You know, this is really not working so well. This one looks bigger. This ought to work. Except the bristles are as hard as can be. I'm just guessing I've never cleaned this brush off before. So when you get new brushes, usually they have a glue on them that holds the bristles together and in shape. And the proper way to clean that glue off is to run them under warm water and just slowly work the bristles until they loosen up and are soft. That's not what I did with this brush because this is a very cheap brush and it's not going to hurt it to just make it loosen up like that. Okay, so with my candle here, I am going to first get some black. And I'm going to make sure that the edges of my tape are all down so that my black can be right up to the edges, make a nice crisp black. That is one thing you can't do so much with watercolor. You just can't do it as easily. And I want to practice it. I'm gonna try to get a roughly straight line here where this candle is. There is something really exciting about being able to put down that dark of paint on the page when you're so used to watercolor that doesn't let you get that dark. At least not immediately like that. Okay. I also don't know with gouache. So I'm using it here out of my my little travel palette that Bricoud gave me actually from my wish list. But I don't know for sure if you're supposed to, when you're using the gouache again, if you're supposed to reconstitute it and mix it up with like a toothpick and water, or if you just get it wet like this and pretend it's like a watercolor cake. I'm not sure. But I am learning and I'll figure it out. So now, since I've got some of this Chinese orange, I think it's called, over on this other palette, I'm gonna come over here and use that and make our background kind of more of an orangey, orange black. Because I want it to look like this candle is glowing. And again, for anybody who is just coming in, I did not come up with this idea on my own. I am following, at least, well, I watched a tutorial by Sarah Cray, who's an amazing artist. And she paints YouTube videos on Let's Make Art. And one of the things that I just love about her videos is that she's very focused on no pressure, just having a good time. Actually, in the beginning of her videos, she encourages everyone to do an art oath, which consists of, I promise to be kind to myself, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm not always kind to myself. I promise not to compare my work, which she means like in a mean way. Comparing your work is one of the ways that you learn, but comparing your work and saying, oh, I'll never be that good, that's not so great. And I promise to have fun. And she has these people do this oath every time. Yeah. Nashi, hi. I'm better than I was, but I spent yesterday in the ER and then again the day before that in the ER. So it's not been a great time. It's been hard. The first night I had either a virus or ulcers. They're still not sure which. And the second night I had a really bad migraine, probably from not eating the day that I was having such pain in my stomach. So yeah, it was really not fun. I'm freaking you out. I'm sorry. I don't mean to freak you out. It was a rough couple days, right, Gio? Yeah. It's been a rough couple days. I was just telling Osaka how I'm really glad right now that I am not in the ER, because at this time the last 2 days I have been. Okay. That looks pretty good. I might want to make the brown a little bit brighter. You think I need to stop playing that game so much? What should I do instead, Nashi? Paint? More art? Let's see. That's pretty. I like that. It looks like it's glowing a little bit. I'm going to get just a little bit more of this orange. And I'm not kidding. It's too intense. I'm worried. Nashi, how is that game going to give me ulcers? I think I need to I don't know. I mean, if I remember correctly from my healthcare classes, ulcers are not caused by stress, contrary to what people used to think. But they are certainly exacerbated by stress. You can read a book or go for a walk. Those would be good things for me. Yeah. It's true. Those are good things. There we go. That's pretty. That's all I'll say about it. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Gio, would you do me a favor? Would you go get me a can of ginger ale? Thank you. Okay. This looks really cool. I'm liking how drastic the black is. Okay. Next, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I'll do this one. This one's fine. And then I'm going to go back to this orange. And I want to make a wax color. So I'm actually going to get any white out of this, my travel palette that I can. What I'm learning is that I go through a lot of white. That's what I've learned about gouache so far. And mix up a nice color for wax. Okay, that's pink. I don't want pink. That's purple. I don't really want purple. Okay, add a little bit of this yellow. Yeah, that looks waxy. Sort of. I'm gonna get the white out again. So this is, I am using Holbein gouache, for those of you who have not tuned in here before, using Holbein gouache that is old already, but I got from a person who got it from an estate sale. And it's been nice to use. It's really the only experience I've got with gouache, but I'm getting there. Okay. I'm so frugal. I don't want to waste any paint at all. There's probably a happy medium there too. I'm gonna use this white. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty wax colored. I want it to work its way into kind of darker wax. And I want it to kind of just fade away as we go down. Thank you. I love you. The ice is good for me anyway. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So part of what I'm trying to learn to do here is how much white I need to be using in my how much white I need to be using when I'm trying to achieve certain looks in gouache. Because I keep treating it like watercolor, even though I know that it is not really not watercolor. So I'm going to use some white right up here. Then I'm going to pick up some more brown, which I'm actually just going to make my own brown by mixing this orange and blue. Good. One thing I should do is cover the other half of my notebook here, because if I do want to do watercolor on that later, the oils from my hands will mess up the way that it flows. Okay. Looks pretty good. It's a little bit streakier than I'd like. Let me go ahead and mix this blue and make this fade off even more. In the tutorial where I got the idea from, she uses browns and makes the candle just fade away to nothingness with the black, which is really neat looking. But I wanted my candle to be kind of cooler colors and the flame to be very warm. I wanted them to contrast that way. Okay, now that I have paper towel over here, I'm so tempted to dab my brush on that when I want to control the water. And I really don't want to do that because that'll possibly screw up the screw up the notebook underneath. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more blue and make kind of mid-tone here. I'm just gonna try, I'm gonna bring a little bit of black into the blue mixture here, right at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to dry off my brush, or rinse it out good, and then I want to practice blending on this. I'm gonna go back to my flat brush and see if I can make it blend how I want it to blend. Kind of. Nope. Let's move this in a little bit closer. that you can see, really see how I'm doing this. Not that I know how to do this, because I don't. But I am going to learn and figure this out. Okay, so here's our palest color. I'll have to readjust the top of that candle and how it looks later. Right now I'm just working with this really pale, dull gray. Okay, then I'm gonna add a little bit of the darker. And go right up and down along here. I have a feeling that I'll have to take black and overdo the edges of this again when I'm done. Okay, gonna add a little bit more of the darker color to it now. I'm gonna dab that off on my brush and kind of try to smooth out the lines between. Then I'm going to take some of the really darkest and come up from the bottom. Okay, I think I better let that dry before I try doing too much more with it. It's kind of working. Let me get the paint. I don't want any white there. Go away. Okay. Nashi, I was wondering the other day, have you received the first pair artwork that you asked for? I was wondering if any of it has actually reached you yet. Okay, I'm gonna take yellow now and just lightly go around the outside of that flame, which just makes it feel, the bookmark should be here. Yes, you had mentioned that you did and you love it. Okay, good. You know, Nashi, sometimes when people say stuff on the stream, I hear it and I'm glad, but it goes past me. The bookmark should be there too. I'm glad. You'll be framing them soon. Oh, that'll be so much fun. Okay. I am very, very glad, Nashi. Okay, that was very bright yellow. I want some colors in here, but for the most part, I just want the white of the paper. I want, okay, I do want some blues right down here, because if you look at a candle, there are some very definite blue places right at the base of that flame. I want it to be a warm blue though. Let me see what I'm working with. Yeah, that'll work. Good. Looks like a... Hi, always. I am here. They're all top quality. I'm so glad, Nashi. Yes, always. I'm here. I'm okay. I'm better than I have been. I was really, really sick the past couple days. But today I am okay. And I'm doing what I can, which is painting a candle. Let's see. I'm seeing if this is dry, and it does seem to be dry. I'm gonna see what happens if I take my brush just slightly damp and try to blend this a little bit now. Almost like I would watercolors. Might work. We'll find out, I guess. I just want that even gradient that is so easy to achieve with, well, it's easy for me to achieve with watercolors because I practiced it. Hi, kitty cat. Did I hear you cry? Hi. Let's see. Yeah, it's good to be back always. I'm not pushing it too hard, but I am here and I am streaming and I am doing my best. I'm gonna take a little bit more black, and I don't know if you can see the streaks from the gouache, but there are some streaks and I'd like to cover them up. Cat Gertrude. Hi. Yes, you're great. Thank you. Get out of the way. So helpful. Why don't you go help someone else somewhere? I'm gonna put some streaks over the brown because I want it to kind of just be even, and I want to see what it looks like if we get the black streaks over the brown. So far it looks really cool. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that looks neat. Hey, Miss Peachy. Oh, thank you always. Yeah, it is looking really neat. It's I watched a gouache tutorial on YouTube by Sarah Cray, who works with Let's Make Art. Okay, Kat, you're going down. And I learned a lot about watercolor from Sarah Cray. And so I figured, well, I'm struggling a little bit with gouache. Let me learn from her there as well. So that's what I've been trying to do. So I watched a tutorial, and this is it, and I'm going for it. Let's go ahead and make a wick here. I want the wick to come down to right about there. And then, honestly, I shouldn't have done the wick yet. I want to make a little, kind of a little concave area for the wax to be. Gonna get some dark browns. Then I'm gonna see if this was watercolor. I would then dry off my brush like this. Just kind of spread it around now. Yeah, that's working pretty well. The darks are blending in with the white under it and making this place look kind of like a concave. Let's see. How are you, Miss Peachy? We're gonna take some white and make it right up along the edge. Here we go. I'm doing okay too. I was in the ER the past couple days, and it's funny because every time I saw, you know, somebody working at the ER, I was like, oh, that's maybe what Miss Peachy does. I even said it to Brian. I was like, I think But that's Miss Peachy's job. You're an ER tech right now, right? You know, I think I want this wax to kind of be globbing over just a little bit right here. Okay, there we go. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah, I thought so. I am feeling a lot better than I was the past couple days. So yes. Okay, now I'm gonna get some more of this orange and put it just in a few places on this flame. Okay. The blue isn't looking blue enough, so I'm gonna take very specific blue. And just right there. Can't decide. That might be more of the blue than I wanted. Wonder if I can cover it up with this white. I don't know. Yeah, kind of. Okay. And then I think I'll just clean up the edges of the candle. I want more of the just basic wax color here. Okay. Put it along here where it is globbed over. The blending is kind of difficult with gouache. I might try a couple gouache blending exercises after this. Let's see. Thank you always. I usually am pretty relaxed when I paint. At least, man, I don't know. I always feel better when I paint, at least. When I'm done painting, I feel good. Sometimes I get pretty frantic when I don't know what I'm going to paint. And that's stressful for me, but that is part of the reason that we have art dice. Raiding with a party of 2. Oh, exciting. How are you, Baron? I'm going to smooth off this edge. Whoops. There we go. And then I'm going to turn my notebook around. The thing is, painting is good for me. I know that it is. But I have a difficult time making myself paint because I worry and I tell myself that it's a waste of time. And when I'm doing that, when I'm streaming, I feel like it's not a waste of time because I'm streaming. So it's all good then. But okay, I want to even this out as well. It is pretty cool how realistic the light looks there. Figured your GF would want to watch me do art. Awesome. Hi, Eggy. How are you? Yeah, this, I watched a tutorial on painting a candle in gouache earlier, and I'm trying to do it here. And it's working pretty well. I'm enjoying it. Let's work a little bit more right up here on the little concave top of the candle. I think it would be the darkest right in the center and up along the edges. Then I'll move down. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Might want to move the lip of the candle down a little bit, which is gonna be hard, I think, because I've already got some pretty thick white gouache there on it. But I want to do just a tad of more white highlights there. And then I think if I take this and add a few shadows underneath, it'll make it look like the wax is kind of bubbled up there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It doesn't look particularly done to me, but it also... Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some kind of bokeh effect. So she was also doing this. I was gonna just leave it and have a candle here, which I think would look really neat on a bookmark or something. But I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and try the bokeh effect that she was doing on her tutorial, which was making kind of pretty, it made it look like there were other candles clear back in the background. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna steal some yellow off of this palette. Bokeh is very in right now in the art world. It's funny because it's an effect that you get with cameras, but artists are trying to recreate it in different media, and it makes some pretty interesting effects, really. I think I should be using probably thicker gouache. Here we go. Okay. I know that I am reactivating the layer underneath and that that isn't the goal here. I don't want to be doing that. And I think it's because my paint is so wet. Hey Chio, how are you? It's nice to see you. Let me get some very I'm gonna go ahead and continue this circle around on my tape just to make it look, make sure that I've got a pretty good circular shape going on here. Okay, it's easier for me to see the shape. Okay. Still haven't heard back from college. Oh my gosh, that is so frustrating. You know, Chio, you could call them and ask. I mean, it's not like it'll hurt your chances. That's really unprofessional on their part. You had to quit taking Lamictal, still on Trintellix. You did call them yesterday and they said a week or two. Okay, well, at least you made sure that you were on their radar. So I'm wanting this to look like there are candles in the background that are just kind of out of focus for our eyes. I'm gonna put one right here. That definitely needs some water. Smooth it out a little. Man. Well, that one's a little more dramatic than I was going for. I better make another one like that so that that one doesn't stand out so strangely. Okay. There we go. It is pretty. Let's see. Let's see. This is the college your mother and sister went to. Yeah, you'll probably get in. It's just they're taking forever, and that's really frustrating. They should have more respect than that. Okay, I'd like to do a really bright yellow one, kind of right down here. I'm not usually a big fan of the bokeh effect, but I would like to learn how to do it, so I'm trying. Well, always, Chio, I bet that you'll get in. I think that they would be stupid not to take you. So apparently where these kind of spots overlap on bokeh, they look a little bit brighter on the overlaps. So I'm working on that. Let's do one right here. Shows up pretty well. I am kind of trying to do a diagonal-ish feel here. There we go. I'm definitely learning how much water reactivates the gouache. The layer underneath. I wonder if bokeh would show like a circle up against the candle that then fades off like behind it. No, I don't think that's how it would work. I'm not sure. I don't completely get it, but okay. Let's get a little bit more of the yellow over here. Pick up some of that. After this, I think I'll roll the art die and paint whatever it tells me to paint. Because I'm just about done with this. Let's see. Philosophy, ethics, get some sort of master's degree. I'm going to PhD in epistemology, which is oh yeah. Philosophy PhDs are Greta for research, especially are Greta for research. What does that mean? I think that looks pretty good. I'm okay with that being my I learned some stuff about gouache. We could roll the art dice. It does look like bokeh, which is kind of surprising to me. Yeah, I like it. Let's peel the tape off. Actually, let's not peel the tape off quite yet because those two little guys are possibly still wet. Let's paint another little circle up here somewhere. There we go. And let's actually see what happens if we give it some yellow highlights. I think that looks pretty. I mean, it always seems like they have kind of glares on different places on the bokeh when they do it. Okay, yeah, that looks good. I don't know what actually causes it. It's something about the way that the camera works, but I like it. We'll call it good. And I have to be nicer to myself. I always feel so frustrated when I work with gouache. I say always, but I've only worked with it a few times. And so I need to be nicer to myself when I'm working with it because it is a new medium for me. It's not the same as watercolor, but I want to be good at it. So I'm going to try a gouache exercise here on the next page. Or I could roll the art dice and do that. I'm not sure which one I'd rather do right now. There we go. I find that if you take the tape off at an angle, it's less likely to tear. Up here it tore my page just a little bit because I was going a little bit faster than I should have been, but that's okay. And as always, I put a date on it. I'm not too concerned with signing my work when it's in a notebook like this because, I mean, it's all mine. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool looking. I'm not sorry to have that in my notebook. Yeah. All right. All right. Do we roll the art die or do we do an art study? Gouache exercises, which I will make up. First person to speak gets their way. Because I don't know which one I'd rather do. I'm not sure I want to have to choose dice. Always says dice. Okay. All right, here we go. Keep in mind, if we roll plant or office tool, we will be re-rolling because we've done those. Oh wait, plant, office tool, and animal. And with the color, we've done primary, we've done complementary, and we did analogous. So we will re-roll any that we've done already. Planet. Okay, we got planet. Primary we have done already, so I'm going to re-roll primary. Monochrome. Ooh, exciting. Okay. We have to do a planet in monochrome. All right. Let me think about this. We could do a pretty cool planet that had rings in monochrome. Ooh, wow. What chrome do we use? What color? Let's see. We used a lot of red, yellow, and blue. If I had a purple, like a purple that would go straight out of the tube, I would use purple, but I don't. But I do have, ooh, how about this really pretty green? It's actually green, possibly the green that I used. Oh no, this wasn't gouache, but okay. Let's do green and planet monochrome. Okay. All right, we're thinking. You know what I need first when I'm doing a planet? A circle. Yes, good. This will work. Gosh. Monochrome planet. Here we go. First, we are going to tape it off as usual. I'm going to go ahead and use gouache because this will actually be pretty good for my practice also. I mean, any mileage that you put on your brush is good practice. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes. I'm just using blue painter's tape that is, I think this is 1/2 inch. It just gives me more space to work. There we go. Gertie, you cannot drink the paint water now. It's got paint in it. Bad for cats. Okay, I think in order to make this look like a planet and not just a big circle, I want to give it rings. Because nothing says planet like a big ringed thing. Also, I could make some really cool monochrome rings, I think. Okay. Does that mean that this would be too big for my planet? Yeah, because I want the rings to be... I want the rings to go out about that far. That means I need a circle that is smaller than this. Just looking around my office here. It's pretty good. Here, I'm gonna take the lid off of this and use that. That'll be great. Yeah. Okay. Going to trace that out. I'm gonna center this and then just give a very light, I forget it doesn't have to be super light because gouache will cover it. Good. Now we have a circle. Now, one thing that I definitely want is the rings. Okay, on this side, okay, assuming that the rings are going perpendicular to the axis of the planet. On this side, they would be below the center point. On that side, they would be above the center point. So like if you're looking at this and imagining a ball in it, the rings come up this way so we can still see the ball, but the rings are going to be in front of us going down and behind us going up. At least that's how I'm imagining this to work. But I am going to use it to mark roughly the outer edges of where this will be. Then I'm going to take a line straight through the center of my page. So on this side, man, drawing an ellipse is a difficult thing to do. So right now, obviously, I'm drawing both the front of our rings and the back of our rings because it's easier to draw a complete ellipse. I want it to be the widest right here. Okay. I think we're narrowing in on it. Okay, let me see if I even have an eraser here somewhere. Here's my kneaded eraser. It's not quite what I would like to use, but I want that to be in, that to be further out. And I don't think they teach you anything like this, in art classes. At least they never taught me anything like this in art classes. You just kind of have to understand geometry. And I know that's the last thing artists want to hear. Learn math, it'll help. But yeah, it's true. Annoyingly true. This one looks a little bit too pointy. Thank you, Nashi. Yes, it is looking okay so far. These look like they're going up too far. If this is the center of our circle, which I think it is, I'm gonna measure this just by using this distance and that distance. Yeah, that's basically the center. This should go to here. And that should go up to there. There we go. So I'm going to erase the ones that are trying to go too far back or too high on the page. Yeah, okay. I have no idea. Let's see. It looks like there's a lump there that shouldn't be. There we go. Okay, let's see that now. It's looking pretty good. And keep in mind, if you're doing the art prompt and you are doing a monochrome planet, it could have rings if you wanted. It could have no rings if you wanted. It could have a wonky hula hoop ring. I don't care. Because this one's looking a little bit like a wonky hula hoop ring. Okay, now if this is a disc, that means that it is going straight to the center here. So you don't only have to draw one ellipse, you have to draw many. However, I know that this is not going to look nearly as exact when I start the gouache painting, so I shouldn't stress it too much. I just want to know where to paint and where not to paint. It would be right here that we could see the whole thing. It would look widest to us right here. From here to here, about that much, about there. Maybe I should go with the wonky hula hoop shape on my planet. Kind of considering it. Maybe we should do like one great big ring out there. The rings don't all have to be touching each other. There we go, that looks more dramatic. Yeah, that's kind of cool looking. I'm gonna use the space we've got. Okay. Again, that should be curling downward right there, though. Also, I just realized that I think when no, maybe I'll paint the planet and then paint the space behind it. That'll work. That'll be good. Okay. We're going to use this paint palette again because since it's going to be monochrome, since the challenge is monochrome, I really need a space with just that color, white, and black. And really it can be any color, but we're going to use this pretty green. And I'm going to break it in half and plop it right in here. If I wanted to use purple, I could. I just don't have the faith in myself to mix up enough of the right purple or to be able to recreate the purple once I mixed it up. So here's our green. I think I've done enough drawing there. I might turn it upside down and see if I can see where. Yeah. These should be coming up a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So, firstly, let's dab some green. Let's see, I'm trying to decide what paintbrush to use. I think this will be a good one. And then I'm gonna get some white and gonna get some black. I'm gonna drop some water here on this piece of gouache and see what happens to it. Hopefully it will happily rehydrate. I'm gonna give myself some white to use right here. And the black I'm just gonna get out of my little container when I need it. Because really usually you need so little black that, okay, pull this back a little bit. So you can see what's going on here a little bit. I've got my, got this here. Okay, so planet, should you be all one plain color of green with like dark green pockmarks and then a whole bunch of different rings that are different colors? Because that would be pretty. I want to make sure you can see the paint mixing too, because that's fun. Yeah, let's try, well, let's remove the cat hair and paint our pretty green planet. Ooh, that is not a cat hair. That is the hair on the paintbrush that's way too long and gonna drive me nuts. So I'm gonna pull it all out. Sometimes new paintbrushes have hairs that are just didn't get cut, especially if they are cheap paintbrushes. So feel free to just pull them out. It's not a big deal. Lots of times it's easier to cut them, but yeah. I don't have a way to cut them, so if it was a nice, like, fancy paintbrush, I would never just pull it out like that. So keep in mind, don't do that with your fancy brushes. I didn't mix up very much of this green-white combination, which I should have, because gouache dries differently than it goes on. But I'm gonna hope that it's close and go ahead and paint along here. I just had an interesting idea. It's possible that I could take gouache and put dark on one side and white on the other side and just kind of use that to make the stripes, but I don't know if that would work. It might. I don't know. And I think I should probably... Thank you, Nashi. I like the color a lot. It's kind of a minty green. It's like the color of 57 Chevy should be this color. If I had a 57 Chevy, this is the color I would want it to be. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put green the rest of the way along here. It's pretty see-through, but that's okay. That way I can follow my my ring markings. Okay. Hey. We rolled. What?
You want to hear an example of how smart Ari is?
Sure.
So,
You maybe should say this so that everybody can hear, though.
she, they were in the car. Kadri and her mom and Ari were in the car.
Right.
And um, she was trying to figure out where she should send her to. We had a talk about sending her to a different school because she's way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
For,
everybody keep in mind this is Gio's 4-year-old.
Yes. So my ex was like, was trying to show that she actually understands. Like, I've had a child who just went through kindergarten here, and they spent all year trying to learn recognizing letters and combining consonants and vowels.
Ari can write her name.
Yes, Ari can write her whole name. So
and
she was
some of her siblings' names.
So they were driving in the car,
okay.
And she was like, "Okay, Ari, what does apple start with?" And Ari was like, "A," and she's like, "Okay, Ari, what does butterfly start with?" And she's like, "B," And so my 15-year-old was sitting there, and she decided to be snarky a little bit, and she was like, "Okay, Ari, what does xylophone start with?" And Ari looked at her and said, "X."
That serves her right.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
And they looked at each other like, "Oh my gosh." She just, yeah. So, I just thought that was really, really funny.
I hate to say it, but I am sure that there are many adults in the U.S. who could not spell xylophone correctly.
Yeah. Well, apparently my 4-year-old is totally capable of it.
No, she's so cute.
We were talking about whether we should try and get her to skip a grade, but she's already the youngest person in her in her class.
She doesn't need to skip a grade.
But she can't spend an entire year having them try and tell her what the letters are when she already can write her full name.
Well, true.
So
nah. Barbara says, "Oh my goodness, yay Ari." Now she says, "Everybody knows how to spell xylophone." He spelled it with a Z. Exactly.
Yep. So yeah, they're she is a smart cookie.
Yeah.
And like she wrote out her full name first and last, full Ariana, the entire name. All she they were like, "Well, can you count to 4?" Like they were doing an assessment for her kindergarten upcoming, and she was like, and they were like, "Well, can you count 4 of these blocks or up to 4?" And she counted to 13 before she stopped. And they're they're like, "Well, can you name all of these colors?" And she named all of the colors and all of the objects. And they were like, "Well, can you draw a triangle and a square?" And and like she drew all of the shapes exactly how they wanted. In fact, one of them, they like put it, I can't remember, they put it in something, and so she started drawing like it was like in a shoe, and they wanted her to draw the square like inside of the shoe, so she did it, and then she started drawing the holes for all the shoelaces that were supposed to go in.
Well, if they wanted her to draw that,
So yeah,
she's so cute.
She is. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were discussing where she could go to school next year.
Well, that's fun. Skip grade and send her to college, says always.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So the planet is done. I kind of gave it a little bit of form by putting some shadow under here. I'm going to give it maybe a little bit more shadow. I'm used to drawing, painting, or whatever, form shadows, and then it has a reflected light source, usually from the thing it's sitting on, but I guess the planet wouldn't have that. So we're not going to do that. Because it's not sitting on anything. It is literally suspended in space. Okay, there we go. We'll say that the sun is over this way. All right. Now, I'm going to get a smaller brush. In fact, a really small brush. And paint some rings. The rings are not going to be perfect. But they will exist. And that is what matters. And it will look really cool in this whole monochrome theme. There we go. What a cutie. Can't believe she can spell, knows what xylophone starts with. That's funny. The other day we got to watch her all day long while her siblings were at school, and my husband Gio was working, and so it was just her and me. Um, and I had her following me around carrying different tools for me so I could hang stuff on the walls. See, I painted this ring and already it's very obviously loopy and wrong because this space from here to here should be here to here. It should be the same there. But hey, this is gouache and we're learning and we can probably paint over that. So we're going to paint it the right way. See, it should go out to about here. And we'll paint over that when we paint space around this thing. Nice. She's a smart one. She is. I taught her the names of all the tools we were using while we were using them. She had a great time. I had a great time. A great time was had by all. And we got a lot of things hung on the wall. Okay, I'm gonna get some black. It's not the best for mixing since it's dried out, but we can make it work. I want it to be we'll make a wider one this time. Man, I have never painted planets. I don't think I've ever drawn planets. I've never even studied planets. I have a basic knowledge. But lots of times when I'm going to paint something, I look at pictures of it for a while first. I didn't here. I was like, yeah, planet, that's fine. That's easy. What is there to be confusing about a planet? Just the geometry, I guess. It's the only thing. Okay, we're looking at a flat disc. I'm going to be able to see the widest parts here and the narrowest parts here. Yeah. Let's take a very, very pale color this time. And go along between these two. Nice. Oh, and my mother has offered to record some music so that I can have art music when I stream. And these would be mostly classical pieces. We found a really neat book of I think it was assembled in 1930 something, and it's been fun. She's going to record those, and then I'll have some calm, pretty music as we stream. Because I know that it probably gets tiring to just hear me talk. 1936. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was pre-war or during. 36. Nice. That'll be really fun. I'm going to get some more of this really dark green. And see if I can make it look. If it's really thick over here, it would be thinner here, but still thicker than others. Well, this is a cartoon planet. We didn't say it had to be realism. That could be another dye. The style we had to do. That would be really interesting. Saying two brush widths there. Back up here to much thinner, or rather narrower bands. This is one of those instances where a good drawing leads to a good painting, and you can't have a good painting without a good drawing. Because this is kind of weird looking. Okay, let's do some more of the straight emerald green here. Let's do a really, really, really thin one. A little bit wider on the edges. Okay. Okay, looks pretty good. Looks awesome. You love the color. Yeah. I really like this color too. It's very like I was saying earlier, 1950s, 1956 Chevy. Yeah. I wish they still made cars this color. I would love a car this color. Let's make a space now. There's a wider band. right here. And then it should be about here. Yeah, it looks whimsical, which is good because there's lots of whimsy going on here. This is pretty much that straight green from Holbein. You think your grandparents' old farmhouse had bathroom tile that color? Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely drive a new car this color. It is picking up some of the gouache underneath on this one, which is good for me to learn. This is a really wonky planet. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It appears my hand is shaking today, which is kind of frustrating. There we go. Okay. Nice, wide. That looks pretty good. Okay, now maybe we paint some craters on it. That would be fun. Or maybe a white ring inside that that really thick green ring. Okay, I want it to be monocolor, so I'm gonna, or monochrome. So I'm adding just a tad of green to the white, but it's basically going to be white. That looks cool. I like that. Might be difficult to see on camera actually. It's a very, very thin white line. There we go. Right in the center. There we go. Okay. Nice. Yeah, now let's draw some crater impact marks on this planet. That would be cool. Okay, let's think about this. I think an impact mark would basically just look like a dark, roughly rounded blob with kind of edges. Yeah. Let's make a lighter one up here. Except it would be round if you were viewing it straight on. So up there, it's going to be different. You know, I think I also want to put a little bit of dark in the center of this crater. Because it would be, if it's concave, then it's going to be Missing some light. Well, and we've already established the light source is up here, so it would be darker on the inside right up there. Okay, let's just make the crater marks for now. There's one. There's one that's a little bit smaller. There's one. My hand is shaking a lot tonight. It's kind of useful for the edges of the craters, I guess. There we go. This kind of just looks like a moldy cheese ball with circles around it. Okay. I'm trying not to make patterns in the craters because my mind kind of just naturally wants to make patterns. Okay, I'm gonna get some dark and add a little bit of shadow inside the bigger craters where it would be more difficult for the sun to reach. So on this side, pretty much the whole thing's going to be dark. On this one though, it would be darker there and a little bit lighter in there. Let's see what that does. Looks like Meet George Jetson. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pick up some of the blacker. Make these craters down here. HN is less than. All right. I don't know what that one means always. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, high noon on the green planet. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. It's looking kind of fun, isn't it? Okay. I think I want to leave space for some little white asteroids floating around. I think that's the right word for the things that float around in the rings. For some little white asteroids to be visible inside this one circle. I think that would be fun. But the rest of it, I think I want to just make black like space. But if it was almost black, but slightly green, that would be really neat. So I'm going to get a little black here. Squeeze it right out of the tube. And then get a little bit of green and add to it. And we'll see what we can do. I guess. um, Okay, I'm gonna take just a little bit of this green. And mix it in with the black. I should have thought about this and pushed down the edges of my tape before I started. I didn't, so it might bleed a little bit right there. Use a little more water, I think. Okay. It's interesting that we did that candle in complete blackness, and now we're doing this in blackness also. There we go. The gouache is so creamy and smooth when it's straight out of the tube. It's very different. Okay, let's sure we got right up here to the white. There we go. Looking good. I'm gonna turn it around now so I'm not okay. A little bit more water. Ooh, whoops. Got the green glob in there. It's not what we're going for. Although that part will certainly be a little bit more green than black. Okay. Let's see. Since I am adding green to this, I don't know if the green is going to show up at all. But since it's not just pure black, I'm going to go ahead and do in between the rings. No, I'm not. Never mind. I was thinking I would stop and do in between the rings, then continue on with the rest, but the rings already make a natural delineation in paints. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this black outer space, and then I'll do the black between the rings. That way I can also give a little more attention to the white green asteroids inside there. Nice. It is looking good. I do like how you can take black gouache and just make it so black. It's really difficult to do that with watercolor, at least in my experience. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. There will probably be places that I need to touch up. But in the meantime, I'm going to paint the black in the circles. Okay. And first I want to do this one because this one has the messed up ring and it's been bothering me ever since I painted it that way. This paintbrush has a little tiny hair that is in the way. There we go. I think I got more water on that paintbrush than I had been getting for the rest of the space here, so that'll make it look a little bit streaky. Might have to cover it up later when I'm done. Okay. Gonna make that look just a little bit, change the angle there. Okay. Now here we're gonna say that there's a there. Okay. You know, I think I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. I'm just gonna keep you forgot to ask how am I feeling? Oh, well, better than yesterday. Better than yesterday, Baron, and better than the day before. So I I had some pains in my stomach that were not good, you know, as opposed to the pains in your stomach that are good. Um, but I had pains in my stomach that was not good, and urgent care said they needed me to go all the way to the ER. So I went all the way to the ER where they helped me, and then yesterday, um, probably from not eating all day Monday, I got a really bad migraine and ended up in the ER again. And that was just not fun. But I'm really glad to be here and not at the ER. It's pretty. As the song goes, just take one step at a time, there is no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. Yeah, that's fair. One step at a time, trying to just exist. This is not looking at all how I had envisioned it, but it's actually looking kind of cool. I always envision kind of photorealism when I want to paint something. And then I set out and start to do it that way and get further on down the line and I'm like, no, I want to add some unrealistic colors, or no, this shape is not looking realistic, so I'll just go with it. Um, when I go for photorealism, I can do all right when I'm using watercolor. Now, I don't think I could just hop in and do it with gouache. Gouache has been surprisingly more difficult to use than I thought it would be. I thought it would be kind of like when you play one instrument and you pick up another instrument that's tuned the same, and it's just easy to play because of it. I thought it would be kind of like that, but really hasn't been. It's been more complicated than that. Yeah, this is a cute little planet. Cute little monochrome planet. Whoops, that's not even on the camera. There we go. Okay. All right, let's look at where we have here we've got some greenish places. That's fine. We knew there was going to be in the green space here. We've got but here we've got white showing through the paper. I don't like that. So we're going to cover it up. We could put stars. Stars would look kind of cool. Just a few little white stars. Let's do that. I'm going to actually use this very sophisticated tool here. We call a toothpick. Pick up some of the white. It's drying already. And I thought I was going to use a toothpick, but maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Here we go. And we will add some little stars. I think that if too much gouache sits there on the page like that, that it will crack and get weird as it dries. So I'm going to take a brush with some water on it and smooth out some of these stars. I thought I was being so clever with my toothpick idea, but I wasn't. I was wrong. Little star clusters. Okay, maybe add a couple more. And just a couple up here. There, I like it. It is a monochrome planet. We do, of course, need to write that on here somewhere. Let me get the tape off first. Taking the tape off is one of the best parts. It just looks so nice once the tape is all removed and the edges are all straight. There we go. Thank you, Nashi. Thank you. I like it. And every time I use gouache, I have to remind myself that I am getting better at it. I'm learning more, getting better feel of how to use it, how it works. Nice. Oh, it looks so good. Okay. Now, make sure to write on here. This was one of the art prompts. Let me see if I have a good pen to use. Wow, that would not work. It's a calligraphy pen. I can use that. This might not be too wide. Okay. All right. We will bring it right down here. What was that, number 4? Yeah. Number 4. Monochrome planets. There we go. Triple G art prompt number 4, monochrome planet. And I do want to put the color that I used. Right now it's this funny ball covered in black. This is actually good. Can now plop it back in there with the green. There we go. There's kind of a spot here that's a little bit dry brush looking, and I don't like it. It's not what I was going for, so I'm gonna fix that. Okay, there we go. Looks great. I'm going to go ahead and scoop up the black that I didn't use and put it in my travel palette. And I will probably just use it again sometime. But there it is. Okay. Here are what we did today. We did this candle in gouache, and it looks pretty good. I'm pleased. Not bad at all. And another black background. This monochrome planet. Triple G art prompt number 4. If anybody has a desire to paint one of your own, paint a monochrome planet and share it to my Discord so I can see, because I really want to see it. I'm going to go ahead and close up shop here. And yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to get on and play some games. I don't know. It's fantastic. Thank you, Nashi. I like it. Oh, did you see how the pears turned out? Here you go. Here were my gouache pears finished. But, you know, they're in my notebook, so I did all of these other things too. But, yeah, when I quit the other day, I just sat down and played with them, and they look good. Then I just kind of practiced making. I tried to make some clouds in gouache, and it kind of worked. It looks very cloud-like. And yes, you're supposed to X-Acto knife it out and sell it to me. Nashi, these pears are not worth selling. I can make you some gouache pears once I figure out how gouache works. These ones were just figuring them out. We will get there. But, I mean, I'm too new to gouache. Plus, you can't X-Acto knife this. Look, this leaf here comes over here. My business advice is let the customer decide what is worth buying. Oh, yeah. That is probably good business advice. But how do you teach it to overcome how do you teach my perfectionistic tendencies to shut up and let the customer decide? Is that a hair? Oh yeah, it's cat hair. There we go. Thought I'd got a weird line on my planet. Also, by the way, you guys, I love this little thing. It keeps the gouache. I mean, my gouache was already kind of dried to begin with, so I didn't have to worry about it. One thing about it being slightly dried to begin with was that I didn't have to freak out about keeping it moist all the time. But yeah, I love this little guy. I might buy they make these little rings that you stick on, and then the ring pops out and you can put it on there for your phone or something. I might put it on there so that when I go traveling, I can paint and hold on to this. Or, I could use my opposable thumbs and hold on to it like a human being. But hey, what do I know? You know lots, Nashi. If you want some gouache pears, I will paint you some gouache pears. I feel much more comfortable with watercolor as a medium. But I'm getting there with gouache. Watching the tutorial where she painted a candle like this was helpful to me. And it was nice. I'm not sure that she did anything that I wouldn't have tried anyway. But it was very nice because it's calming to see someone do something and then just replicate it. Yeah, the candle is amazing. And I'd always wanted to paint flame. I think the only time I've ever tried painting flame was actually in this notebook. Yeah, I painted flame right here. And I knew that it should just be more, I knew that it should have just been white with color around it, but I didn't have the ability to go backwards, and I was just making up this little scene as I went. And so that little campfire. Yeah, it reminds you of a tent you had when you were a kid. I was actually thinking of a tent that my dad let me borrow that's significantly older than I am. Probably from the 60s. That tent is it's honestly kind of rotten, but it's this color and it just sets up just like that. And yeah. Yeah, this is I'm almost done with this sketchbook. I've got one, two, three, four, five more places, but see when I was doing photorealism, this was what I was getting. Um these cute little frog. I couldn't decide what to paint, so I grabbed a National Geographic and looked for pictures of what to do and found this cute little frog. And I love him. Um and then drew a cat. Before I finish off this notebook, this sketchbook, I need to actually paint this cat. Um, this one I was trying to approximate a Rembrandt, but you know, he paints in oils and I was using watercolor, and he gets stuff that's makes some really dark darks and some really light lights on the landscape. And then let's see here. I was just playing with some what do you call kind of iridescent paints that I got. So these are shiny, and I don't know if you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell that they're shiny on there, but yeah, I was mostly just practicing, learning brush strokes and whatnot. Thank you so much, Nashi. That's really kind. This one I watched a person paint some squashes on YouTube. Her name is, she goes by Nia Nia Ni, and I really love to watch her stuff. And just the way that she paints is very relaxing to me. And she explains how to draw things beforehand, which to me is the most stressful part of the whole process. I think I watched another art tutorial for painting these orchids, but I don't actually remember who did that one. Sorry to say. This was me trying to make some, yeah, you know, edible things, cherries, strawberries, citrus fruits. You love all of these. I'm glad. This notebook I've been working on since October of 22. So it shows a lot of growth, and it's fun to look back at sketchbooks like this. Look at that frog. Yeah, the frog was, I copied him out of a National Geographic. And then I did put some of the golden iridescent paints on him because I wanted him to have gold eyes. Draw a spider? I could draw a spider. Not sure I ever have drawn a spider before. I do like spiders though. Here, I'll draw a spider. This page has some space. Let's have a spider. If we're going for, let's see, they have eyes here. And then I think they have like 3 little eyes over there. There, little spider. I love jumping spiders. I think they are so cool. I watched a jumping spider catch a gnat one time on the side of my house. I was like, man, there you go. There's a little spider. This one was done after watching another one of Nia Nia Ni's tutorials where she paints something, and I loved it. I was trying to paint someone underneath an olive tree. And I was looking up olive trees and they're all craggly and cool and yeah. And then I got this person sitting here and then I chickened out and stopped. So that's where that one is. That's one thing about a sketchbook. I have trouble. I want everything, if it's in a book, I want it to be perfect, and you can't practice or try anything random, but that's really not what sketchbooks are about. It would be really good for me if I would just lighten up and try stuff. So I'm trying more to do that. This one, yeah. Show the frog again? Okay, I'll show the frog. I should have written down what kind of frog it was. It was in the National Geographic. I read the article about him. I really just wanted something pretty to paint. So I went through the National Geographic that was sitting there, and the little frog was so cute. I was like, that's what I want to paint. And this one, I was trying a new style where I sat down, didn't use a pencil at all, and I just started sketching with ink. And my mom was actually in the hospital, so I was sitting outside the hospital waiting for her surgery to be over, and it was very stressful. But it was good to keep my mind off of it. Hey, Miss Peachy. Watercolor. Everything that you've seen in here so far has been watercolor. Oh, here is a bug. I was sitting at a picnic table and saw this little bug and thought, what a cute little bug, and painted him. And then in here, a friend gave me a sticker. Actually, she gave me a couple stickers. Come on, cat. You coming up? Show the frog one more time. How many times do you want to... You know, I would sell you the frog, but I'm not sure it's even legal to sell the frog. I did it off of a picture from the National Geographic. But yeah. The frog is cute. Hi, cat. Let's see. Looks like a striped marsh frog to you? It very well could be. I can tell you that it is exactly the same as the frog that was in that National Geographic. I don't even remember which not edition, issue, which issue it was. Oh, this is one of the stickers that my friend gave me, and then I just tried to replicate it over here in watercolor. They're in Australia. Oh, that's neat. I think that the frog I read about was from Africa, but I wouldn't swear to it. It was a while ago. And then this mortar and pestle sticker here. And then I tried to approximate it here. I do really like this piece, actually. If I had this piece blown up, I would hang it on my wall. And I can't say that about a lot of my pieces. These were hydrangeas. And they just got so pretty. It was really hot out though. I remember I was outside and it was very hot, and my painting kept drying much faster than I was wanting it to dry. And that was annoying. These I did on a stream. We looked up a botanical print and kind of copied them. I really like the botanical prints, especially antique botanical prints that are just designed to show all the different pieces of stuff. Gertrude, you are in my way. This was last Halloween. We had a pretty pumpkin, and I loved it. We never carved it, but I painted it, and that's what I wanted. These I used watercolor pencils, and I'm not especially proficient with watercolor pencils yet. I need to practice them if I want to get better at them, but I think that they're a really neat medium, and I would like to be better with them. Hi. Then I painted some hats, and an orange, and a rose, and some pears. Here. Just feeling my way around stuff. This was me trying out the iridescent paints, seeing if I could make a complete night sky with them. And they're okay, but I'm underwhelmed with this piece here. Just nah. Here's where I started getting into the gouache. You can see I've used some gouache here on this. And I was trying to paint some pansies here. Didn't really work. But then here's my first gouache painting, which is this little bonsai tree. I really would love to have a bonsai tree. I want to figure out how to do that so badly. They're neat. So yeah, this was my first gouache painting, and it worked pretty well. I went ahead, sorry, my cat is kicking things. I went ahead and did an underpainting, which I saw that some people use with gouache, and I always liked underpainting when I worked with oils because you don't have to draw something. With oils, if you do an underpainting in like burnt umber or sepia or something, and you don't like where something is, you just kind of smudge it more and move the thing. Unfortunately, you can't do that with gouache because it dries. But I did an underpainting, and it gives this tree some character and some more depth than it might otherwise have had. And then, of course, Bartholomew Angelo K. Mouse, which was one of the art prompts, made with only this blue and orange, these colors. And he's a kangaroo mouse. And then these pears when I was getting frustrated with the mouse. And then the things that we did tonight. The candle and the planet. Yeah, I don't know what sketchbook I'm going to have to switch to when I'm done with this one. This one's been great. I do have some stickers on it. This is a Pentalic. It's not cotton, but it feels like it. Works like it. Love the bonsai tree. Thank you, Nashi. I really like the bonsai tree too. Yeah. Yeah, I really like the bonsai tree also. It looks good. I need to look at some pictures of pansies and go ahead and try harder on these pansies. See what I can do. Don't mind the cat foot. Oh, okay. Everybody, I am really tired. I think I'm gonna call it. You'll dream up a new commission for me? Okay. I'm ready, Nashi. You let me know. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you for all of your support, and thanks for worrying about me, everybody. I probably will be back to play some games later on, but I'm not going to do it on stream, so. All right, and if anybody wants to do the art prompt here, remember, it is monochrome planet. There it is. And the little cat feet. Oh my gosh. Yep, that's Gertie saying that die looks like a cat toy to me. No? You don't want to do it again for the camera? I don't think she'll be able to help herself. Oh, all right. Bye, everybody. I can do a monochrome planet. I just need a pencil and a protractor. Exactly. You should. Nashi, I want to see that on the Discord. Thanks always. Bye, everybody. Miles of smiles always. Thank you. Okay, come on, Gertie. Come on, you.